The world of Dragon Ball Z has been all about power and strength. In fact, the very existence of each character in this series is seemingly based on the notion of how much strength an individual can acquire. While the purpose might vary from person to person, the race against time to become the most powerful being in the universe is usually the ultimate agenda. Hence, the title of The Strongest has always been in a state of flux in the Dragon Ball franchise. We've seen the likes of Frieza, Cell, and even Gohan boast that title alongside our protagonist, Goku. At the same time, with each new transformation, Goku has acquired a magnificent power boost that has only pushed the bar higher and higher. But his recent transformation might just have sealed his spot at the top of the list of strongest characters in the Dragon Ball franchise, all thanks to the Ultra Instinct. A phenomenal transformation that changes the user into the most formidable fighter in any given scenario, the Ultra Instinct has further taken Goku's power scale up another notch. So what is the Ultra Instinct? How does it affect the user who activates it? Most importantly, is Ultra Instinct what guarantees the user holds the title of the strongest? We'll be answering all these questions from the anatomical perspective as we look at the powers and abilities that are unlocked and upgraded by Ultra Instinct. What is Ultra Instinct? How does Goku learn about it? Imagine yourself in a situation where you have to defend yourself from an assailant, or think of a time when you got into a fight with someone. In both cases, you would immediately think of ways to either escape or plan the actions with which you would subdue your opponent. In short, your mind comes up with innumerable ideas so that you can flee or fight your adversary. At the same time, however, the mind is burdened with a lot of emotions due to the seriousness of the situation. It can be pure rage or uncontrollable fear and anxiety. But one thing is clear enough: the mind's rational and emotional aspects are the ones that dictate the body's movements in a tense situation, especially that of survival. So, how do you deal with the mind's tendency to calculate the punches or control your nerves? The Dragon Ball franchise gives a brilliant answer. You cease to think and feel entirely. Instead, you let the body take charge of your safety, and that is what Ultra Instinct is all about. So, Ultra Instinct can be defined as the ultimate technique that distances the consciousness of the user from their body. This enables the user's body to move around and fight without the intervention of thoughts and feelings. The user gains a major advantage in that they don't have to waste even a fraction of a second thinking of a course of action while fighting against a tough opponent. Letting one's body do all the quote-unquote thinking gives the user a much-needed edge. But how does the body think? Well, given the strict training regimen that characters like Goku have to undergo in order to develop their combat skills, it goes without saying that the battle experience they gather later on contributes significantly to their muscle memory. So how is Ultra Instinct acquired? Well, it is actually a transformation. It can only be attained by a select breed of individuals. In the Dragon Ball franchise, the angels were able to master Ultra Instinct on an instinctual level, being some of the strongest cosmic entities in existence, which is why it is also called the state of the gods. Then, how did Goku, a Saiyan, attain such a feat? Well, all thanks to the angel Whis, one of the first to master this transformation. Whis had taught his students, Goku, Vegeta, and Beerus, to attain Ultra Instinct by introducing it as the state of letting the body develop a superior form of muscle autonomy, so that each part can function on its own with unmatched agility and speed. However, it turned out to be a challenging task. As Whis himself declared in the course of Dragon Ball Super, it was too tough for Lord Beerus to master, even after spending millions of years learning it. How did Goku do? Let's find out. Can mortals perform Ultra Instinct? How long does it take Goku to perform the basics of Instinct? Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of Ultra Instinct, let's clarify one thing. It's a state of being. This means it incorporates a form as well as a technique which is unique to the Ultra Instinct, which is, after all, the mastery of self-movement. With that being said, let's proceed. In the words of Whis, the Ultra Instinct is the pinnacle of perfected reflexes. Without losing a second of movement time, the body in this state is capable of dodging any kind of incoming attack. However, it seems to be innate only to angels in the world of Dragon Ball. The sheer prowess that is necessary to attain this state is, in all actuality, quite insurmountable. As a matter of fact, even the gods of destruction cannot master Ultra Instinct easily. But it doesn't require much. You just have to hone your senses and perform it as if your instincts have a mind of their own. This sounds easy, but like the saying goes, things can be a lot harder to do than they look. Now, let's come to the first question. Are mortals capable of attaining Ultra Instinct? Well, the answer is yes, as well as no. There have been a handful of instances in which certain mortal beings were able to attain a state of being that was pretty similar to Ultra Instinct, but not exactly the same. One memorable example is Master Roshi. Due to his long years of martial arts experience, Master Roshi was able to integrate a certain degree of autonomy into his physique in order to dodge attacks by his assailants. Although it's not Ultra Instinct per se, he is capable of anticipating incoming attacks by his enemy, which further enables him to evade any kind of harm directed at him. This is notably seen in his face-off against Jiren, when he was able to duck in the nick of time to dodge Jiren's punch. Master Roshi's execution was so phenomenal that Whis declared him as the only mortal to have come close to understanding and mastering the Ultra Instinct. But how was Master Roshi able to use this pseudo-version of Ultra Instinct? Well, to reiterate, his battle experience is more than ample to foresee the kind of attacks his adversaries would resort to in any given situation. At the same time, Master Roshi is himself an expert in martial arts. But it takes more than just skills and experience in warfare to attain Ultra Instinct. It also takes purity of heart. Every time Master Roshi stepped into his version of the Ultra Instinct, his heart was clear with the purest of thoughts. So, in case you were wondering, Master Roshi cannot use this state of being if he's being his usual perverted self. But then again, which true warrior would ever be in that disposition when in a life and death situation? Jokes aside, Master Roshi is certainly one of the very few mortals who has been able to come close to the perfect form of Ultra Instinct. So, what about his Saiyan protege? As we all know, Goku does have the anatomy for it, and if you haven't checked out our video on Goku's anatomy, what are you waiting for? You should check it out ASAP. Wait, so where were we? Oh yeah, Goku and Ultra Instinct. It did take Goku a significant period of time to learn and attain this state of being. As Whis puts it quite clearly, Goku is just too relaxed a fighter who often lets his guard down out of overconfidence. Unlike Vegeta, Goku is often seen as casual, even in the toughest of circumstances. While too much relaxation isn't good, Vegeta's overtly tense temperament isn't great either. In short, Whis believes that one can attain Ultra Instinct only if the user is at that precise point of balance between the extremities of bliss and stress. Now, let's come to Goku's learning of Ultra Instinct. Goku, along with Vegeta, first came to know about this state of being during their training under Whis in the Resurrection F arc of Dragon Ball Super. However, Goku finally started working on it in the succeeding arc, that is, the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc. The third arc of Dragon Ball Super sees Goku practicing to hone all his senses by trying to navigate through the world with his eyes closed, something Master Roshi himself was capable of doing. This training also involved him basing movement entirely on the support of his intuition and instinct. In short, Goku's training was all about nudging his body to think, sense, and react to any sort of danger. During the Future Trunks arc of Dragon Ball Super, the first sign of Goku learning it was depicted when he dodged one of Bulma's slaps without even giving it a thought. While the past two arcs did have their share of comic relief, it eventually anticipated the advent of the Universe Survival arc, where Goku was able to attain Ultra Instinct in the most breathtaking way possible. What is the Ultra Instinct sign? How does it boost Goku's anatomy? Why is it incomplete? So let's do a small recap of the points we've covered so far. The Ultra Instinct is a state of being that allows the user to let their body function autonomously in a fight without having to process the actions they might have to take. While the Angels are the only ones to have mastered Ultra Instinct, Whis was able to teach both Goku and Vegeta about the fundamentals of it. Now, the very idea of Ultra Instinct was introduced in Dragon Ball Super, with Goku learning about it in the Resurrection F arc. However, if one were to go through the chronology of each saga, it would be evident that the protagonist was able to attain Ultra Instinct only after the passage of two major sagas in between. So what culminated in the emergence of the Ultra Instinct form within Goku? And, more importantly, how did it still end up being incomplete? For this, we'll have to look at the stupendous face-off between Goku and Jiren. Episode 110 of Dragon Ball Super is deemed one of the most pivotal instances in the entire franchise. The episode begins with the continuation of events that took place in the previous episode. As Goku fights hard to push his Spirit Bomb back to Jiren, who is able to repel it with his piercing glare, the tournament takes a different turn. The stalemate between the two went on until the Spirit Bomb eventually collapsed into itself, sucking in Goku right before it exploded violently. As the Xenos are about to eliminate Goku from the tournament, the protagonist appears out of the blue, this time in a totally different physical state that is able to go toe-to-toe with a confused and infuriated Jiren. It is Whis who realizes that Goku had incidentally activated the Ultra Instinct sign due to the exposure to his own Spirit Bomb. In other words, Goku was able to break through his own power limits while he revitalized himself from the effects of the explosion, and this resulted in one of the most memorable fight sequences of the series. So what exactly is the Ultra Instinct sign? It is an incomplete state of the original Ultra Instinct, in which the user's body is only able to defend autonomously. This means this state exclusively sees the body of the user dodging all attacks that are made at them. In terms of appearance, Goku's hair exhibits a greater level of spikiness and cohesion, devoid of any stray strands. His eyes assume a more resolute and well-defined contour, featuring a set of striking silver irises and discernible pupils, akin to the appearance seen in his Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan God transformation. Furthermore, he radiates an intricate aura, comprised of shimmering silvery blue and purple hue, resembling the undulating flame-like energy pattern observed in the Super Saiyan God. And the power boost that entails this transformation is humongous, as the Ultra Instinct sign is greater than the X20 Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, which does imply that the user's energy and power are increased. Unfortunately, the reason Goku failed to hit the mark of perfection is because it only makes his defense automatic. Goku still has to think about his attacks, which negatively impacts his fighting techniques. This becomes palpable when he goes into the state 2 more times, once against Kefla and against Jiren once more in the final battle of Dragon Ball Super. While his face-off against Kefla witnesses a brilliant display of power by the protagonist, Goku is unable to fight Jiren on equal terms solely due to the lack of completion of his Ultra Instinct. But there is this thing called Plot Arm, using which Goku was able to accomplish the impossible right at the 11th hour. So, how does Goku's perfected Ultra Instinct function? What happens when Goku steps into the perfect Ultra Instinct? Can his body defend and attack by itself? Just towards the end of episode 128 of Dragon Ball Super, a miracle happens. Goku reactivates his Ultra Instinct to dodge Jiren's final blow and in turn inflicts a heavy attack on the antagonist. The most defining aspect of this transformation, however, is how it simply goes against the true Ultra Instinct. But before going into that, let's see what the perfect Ultra Instinct actually looks like. As far as appearances are concerned, it's almost similar to the Ultra Instinct sign that Goku unlocked during the tournament. He is enveloped in a radiant white aura, with his facial features adorned in a striking blend of black and blue hues. His hairstyle bears a striking resemblance to his Super Saiyan form, although his hair color does change into a shimmering silver instead. This hairstyle takes on a somewhat more untamed and robust appearance than his usual look, with no stray strands at all. His eyes once again adopt a discernibly sharper, well-defined shape, featuring silvery irises and clearly visible pupils. So what about his power? For starters, Goku's body can now attack and defend autonomously in the perfected Ultra Instinct state. All of his stats are boosted to a point where Jiren's enormous energy felt like an annoying gnat, and Goku could even enter a rage boost of sorts, which helped him nearly end the universal survival arc. But this is a state that he enters as the highest form of a technique in the middle of the battle of his life. What makes it different from the so-called true Ultra Instinct technique? Well, the only major difference that lies between them is, ironically, the use of emotions. Unlike the original, the true Ultra Instinct singularly channels all the emotions of the user into the fight. It first came into being during Goku's fight against Moro and later against Gas, in which he realizes that this state can function only if he invests all his concentration into his feelings. Thus, by giving primacy to his emotions, Goku is able to boost his endurance, strength, and agility to a much greater extent, and this sudden increase in power stems from Goku's acknowledgement of his own emotions. Having finally acknowledged his true nature as a pure-blooded Saiyan warrior, Goku is able to tap into his fullest potential by resorting to the strength and depth of his own emotions. In other words, he is able to unlock the true Ultra Instinct due to his ability to break the much-needed equilibrium in his mind and heart and introduce a Saiyan's natural battle lust into it, which he then makes work for his own ends. This is why we called the true Ultra Instinct form paradoxical at the start of this section. The perfected Ultra Instinct is considered to be Goku's most powerful form from a technical standpoint, which actually surpassed Super Saiyan Blue. While Goku has been successful in subduing his enemies in this form, the protagonist has yet to master his natural instinct in the same way the angels, especially Whis. When pitted against a race that is known to have mastered such an incredibly divine state of being, Goku may not be at the level of the angels, but he sure is in a different league of his own, where his instinct goes in tandem with his own emotions. However, there are quite a handful of drawbacks to this divine transformation. What are the drawbacks of using Ultra Instinct? Can Goku overcome them? The primary issue with mastering Ultra Instinct lies in its formidable difficulty. A vivid example of this can be found in the God of Destruction, Beerus, who devoted millions of years to training but remains unable to achieve mastery of the Ultra Instinct form. Much of this complexity can be attributed to the extraordinary stamina drain associated with the method. For those who haven't undergone sufficient training in Ultra Instinct, the instinctive and intense physical movements during combat take a severe toll on the user. As a result, beginners who attempt to harness Ultra Instinct often find it difficult to sustain the state for a long period of time. As far as the requirements to attain it are concerned, the perfected Ultra Instinct is influenced by his emotions, especially his anger. This is quite similar to Goku's Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue transformations. When facing Jiren, Goku's rage had the remarkable effect of triggering another surge in his power and speed while in Ultra Instinct. However, this eruption of emotion disrupted the intrinsic tranquility that is needed to access the technique. This resulted in Goku losing his ability to maintain Ultra Instinct shortly thereafter, and this did continue until he faced Moro later in the series. Furthermore, though Goku has the ability to activate the omen of the Ultra Instinct intentionally, he is unable to consistently utilize the full technique at his own will. He informed Vegeta at the conclusion of the Universal Survival arc that this form emerged when he was pushed to the brink, and he currently lacks the ability to invoke it voluntarily. In other words, Goku cannot stick to the state of Ultra Instinct as per his own needs. Still, he did put up a tough fight against the likes of Jiren and Gas. How strong is the perfected Ultra Instinct? Is perfect Ultra Instinct Goku's strongest form? If not, what is? Well, to sum it all up, the perfected Ultra Instinct is the best of both worlds. It brings together the mastery of self-movement while channeling the user's emotions to boost their strength to unimaginable heights. And it goes without saying that this makes Goku the top dog in the world of Dragon Ball Super. However, this does not guarantee its superiority from a technique standpoint. Although he is successful in defeating Jiren one-on-one, the problems entailed with perfected Ultra Instinct would surely affect Goku's chances of winning during a life and death situation. As of now, the only state that has outclassed Goku's perfected Ultra Instinct in terms of raw strength is none other than Vegeta's Ultra Ego. This state of being enables the user to utilize the power of Hakai or destruction to the fullest. And if you want to learn more about the Ultra Ego and Vegeta's own anatomy, head to our list of recent videos right away. For now, let's focus on the other powerful entities that can defeat Goku in his perfected Ultra Instinct state. This category includes the likes of Gas, Granola, and Black Frieza as well, all of whom can give Goku stiff competition in his perfected Ultra Instinct form. Yet, Goku does not entirely choose to rely on this state of being. Rather, he prefers to fight in the state of the Ultra Instinct sign, which only provides partial autonomy to the body to move at will, while the user's consciousness is up and running. The partial extent, however, should not be underestimated. Given the supreme levels of agility and reflexes that Goku displayed during his first fight against Jiren, it does make sense that the former would rather have the ability to control and align his attacks than let his own body go into autopilot. Most of all, the Ultra Instinct sign state encompasses one major element that the perfected version does not embody, and that is his ruthless mentality. To inflict intense damage against his enemies in the blink of an eye, now this cannot be truly achieved if Goku is unable to let go of his good-natured temperament. With the possibility of his own emotions becoming a hindrance to his fighting techniques, it's indeed a smart move by the Saiyan protagonist to adopt a state of being that would still let his consciousness make the call, while his body becomes a mindless fighting machine. So, Son Goku is not that dull a character, is he? Marvelous verdict! So, how is strength determined? What are the factors that influence the emergence of the strongest being? Most importantly, does physical prowess exclusively decide whether someone is indeed the strongest? Truth be told, all these questions seemingly emphasize the fact that strength is based on the very notions of one's physical power. At the same time, what many of us often forget to acknowledge is the sheer impact a pure heart can have on a person or an idea. The goodness in one's heart is capable of bringing down even the toughest of adversaries, and Son Goku is a true exemplar of this case. A fun-loving, relaxed, and good-natured person at heart, Goku's righteousness is the basis of his Ultra Instinct, and in turn, his own strength. But that's enough out of us. What do you guys think about Ultra Instinct? Let us know in the comments section down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one.